let's do Peacemaker, then we'll do beer and snack time.
All right, Peacemaker.
So Peacemaker is the funniest show of the year, and I know we're only 3 weeks into this year, but I stand by that. I stand by that. What did you think? Oh, I forgot it was on, and then I watched it, and then I could not take my eyes off of it, and then just tore through those first 3 episodes.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I don't know. Like, I kind of need a rewatch. I was a little thrown by the tone. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of funny parts, and I don't know. It was just different than I expected. Had a different vibe than the Suicide Squad, I thought.
Yeah, because you're right. They leaned way more into the comedy than, even more so than in Suicide Squad. But the Suicide Squad was an ensemble piece. This was really about, this is a John Cena show. And as we know, John Cena, he really does comedy really well. He comes off as very awkward when he's doing comedy in WWE, but that's PG comedy. Now you got R-rated comedy. You got John Cena completely naked, railing a banshee, screaming freedom. That's the John Cena that we knew existed, the doctor of thugonomics.
He's super willing to, like, humiliate himself.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's just like a given, right? If you're willing to either show your package or run around in tidy whities, you're going to be a star. I don't feel like guys have ever done full frontal on film and haven't become stars from it.
Is that true?
I mean,
it's got to be true.
Kevin Bacon did it. Who's the guy who played Magneto, the young Magneto?
What is?
We can't edit this out because we're live.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, he did. He's fine.
Arnold in the first Terminator.
Yeah, another one. Jason Segel in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he did his Flaccid.
And he's a huge star.
Yeah, and he's a big star. So John Cena just about took it there, and this show was great. This captured the vibe. So if you did not see the Suicide Squad, I think this is going to make you go back and watch the Suicide Squad. The movie was a little bit, like you said, it had a little bit more of that serious vibe, and this one really leaned into the comedy, especially with that opening intro. That's the best opening intro we've seen in a long, long time.
The dance sequence.
Yeah, that dance sequence is so random and out of place, but it works perfectly. It's just you really captured that weirdness that makes James Gunn's movies so well. I need to go back and watch his other superhero film that was shot here not here, but close to here in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Was it? You talking about Super?
Super.
Yeah, Super's great.
Yeah.
That's Dwight from The Office.
Yeah, I feel like he really just he understands the quirkiness of the comic book genre. But some of the standout characters, I'm a big fan of Diebeard in that. I feel like we've worked with diebeards. I feel like we've run into diebeards here in Austin. He felt very Austin to you, didn't he?
He's got that tech vibe, like he works on the bottom floor of the building.
Yeah, I feel like that was great. And then speaking
Just bump into him in the snack room, and it's like always awkward.
What's up, Diebeard? And then speaking of Terminator, we got T2 himself, Robert Patrick.
Yep.
And did you expect him to Peacemaker's dad? Like, we knew we were going to have a troubled relationship with his dad, but I mean, is he like a white supremacist supervillain?
I didn't know that was the case until the very end, and then I started watching the recaps. I was like, oh shit, that's who that is?
So they did pay off. So if you did watch the end credits of the Suicide Squad, it literally just kicks right off from there. But I'm all in. I mean, all these weekday drops, they need to move into weekends, but I know they're not going to do it. I think he does. HBO does the Thursday drop for those guys, and we already have our Disney Wednesday drops. But you brought up a really good point. James Gunn, he knows how to book wrestlers. He's the director, but we're calling him a booker because it is safe to say that Dave Bautista in the first Guardians of the Galaxy and then every movie after that stole the show, or he stole most of the scenes he was in. And now you have John Cena doing the same thing because he stole a lot of the scenes he was in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and like his main skill there is doing comedy with wrestlers. You know, because I feel like if you're a pro wrestler, you're probably gonna nail the action stuff fairly easily.
Right.
Right. But like he brings out the comedy in them, which is interesting.
He does, and he extracts it, and it comes off as so organic. Where in the wrestling ring, it's hard to come off organic in WWE. And when it does, the people who get ahead in WWE, and I say that because that's basically John Cena, Batista, The Rock, those guys, they've only been in WWE. And those guys, when they were organic, which was the Doctor of Thugonomics, Batista just being Batista, and then when The Rock became that version of himself, they propelled. They were not hamstrung by being overproduced. And what they would do is The Rock would just take the producer under his wing. It's like, this is who I am. And I feel like James Gunn found that he found that shorthand with Batista and John Cena. Because Batista, if I remember correctly, when James Gunn got quasi-canceled because of Twitter and some tweets that he did, Batista was the first one that signed that letter that says, we're not doing another one without James Gunn.
Batista was, he was ready to walk.
Yeah, he was I think he was the one that led the charge on that. So he knows how to take care of himself. And the music, James Gunn knows music.
He's got a good record collection, I bet.
Yeah, we need to do a top 5 directors that know how to pick the right music for their films.
He would be in the top 5,
yeah,
probably.
All right, him and Quentin Tarantino, they just know how to make songs that you may not have heard great, or songs that you have heard, and then they make them even better. But what are your thoughts on James Gunn maybe booking more wrestlers, or maybe he just takes over WWE? Don't give it to Nick Khan. Give it to James Gunn.
Give WWE to James Gunn. Yeah. What a great idea. Let's start that campaign.
Start the money. Bring the money. Get that money graphic, because right now that's the pitch. James Gunn, you take over WWE.
James Gunn books WWE going forward. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't see why not, because he finds what works for these guys, and it just feels very And the thing about it that you notice in Peacemaker, the jokes happen so fast, and it's happening so fast. It's hard to really keep up with how many that you got. That you actually have to go back and rewatch it. While it's still very aggressive, it's like, oh, look, I think a pizza exploded. Like, that's somebody's face. So, I mean, obviously, that's hard R. It's like, looks like a pizza slice, but it's actually a face.
Yeah.
But the jokes, they happen so fast. But it does not give up anything to be funny. Like, it doesn't say, well, we're going to be funny, so we can't be as aggressive, or we can't be it's uber violent, and it's uber funny at the same time.
Yeah, I think some of the jokes come so fast. That's why I think it requires a second viewing. I think you have to adjust to the pace of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's got a unique feel. It definitely feels like James Gunn, but it's James Gunn because we're so used to him doing huge blockbusters now. This is like dressed down James Gunn. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This feels a little more like his indie stuff. It's got I think if you watch Super, aside from the weird religious commentary, this feels pretty close.
And I believe he directed, well, he directed the first 3 episodes for sure. And he has more.
He wrote the whole show, I believe.
So there's going to be 8 episodes, and he's going to direct 2 more. He's going to direct episode 6, and then he's going to direct the finale as well. But yeah, he's actually listed. Oh yeah, he wrote the entire show. So I'm sure you're going to feel there's no way somebody's going to come in and all of a sudden change the flavor. And we'll get into this when we talk about Book of Boba Fett, which had a great episode today. So if you haven't, we're going to do that after snack time. But you really noticed that Robert Rodriguez directed 3 episodes, and then we had a new director from 4, and you felt a different flavor. I don't think you're going to feel that change of pace with Peacemaker. I think it's going to feel James Gunn all the way through.
I hope so. I hope it continues. I think honestly, this would have been to me, I know HBO is not doing this and maybe we're moving away from this, but I would have liked to have all the episodes here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just give them all. There's not a whole lot of weekly cliffhanger stuff going on. So just give me them all.
Is Netflix the last stand on doing the bingeable shows? Because I feel like Prime is once a week drop.
Well,
Hulu's a once a week drop.
Netflix invented the binge.
Yeah.
So that's sort of their gimmicks. I don't know that they'll ever. I mean, maybe they'll get away from it at some point. Well, like I said, Ozarks is coming out. They're just dropping half the season. They've been doing that sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did that with Master He-Man and the Masters of the Universe reboot. They did a half and half, and they ended on a cliffhanger that made the internet blow up.
Yeah, so I don't think.
Blow up, damn it! Blow up! But, I mean, I guess it works. HBO was the channel to go to for the best television shows before. Now, of course, you have television shows that are better than film. You get cinematic experiences at home, but you didn't used to get that before unless it was through HBO. And I feel like they're trying to get back to that. You know, you got a new season of Westworld dropping. They're going to try to fix the Game of Thrones backlash by having a prequel, and hopefully they deliver on that. And then you got Peacemaker. I mean, they're making a legitimate run that I didn't think they were going to make. And I don't know if the pandemic helped them by having the day and date drop of all those blockbuster films at the same time too. But I feel like they're in the running. I feel like I watch more stuff on HBO Max. I think I may keep saying HBO Go. HBO Max than I do on Prime or Hulu.
I think HBO Max was their own enemy at the beginning because they sort of confused everyone with their naming system.
Yeah.
Like HBO Max, HBO Go, nobody knew. Even to this day, my mom is like, I'll tell her to watch something on HBO. It's like, I have HBO Max. Is it on that? It's like, well, yes, that's also HBO.
That rebranding. I mean, I'm okay with the purple, but yeah, the merging, because everybody knew they owned Skinamax too.
I think if I'm HBO, if I'm in the big chair at HBO and whatever, and I think they're owned by Warner. I think eventually maybe it's just going to become Warner Brothers Plus.
Oh yeah, why didn't they do that?
Because Warner Bros. Got a lot of stuff.
Well, I subscribed to DC Universe, where literally it was all the DC content, and that was a lot more clear. And then that kind of dissolved into the HBO Max platform. But it's not that clear. You actually have to dig for it a little bit. Where when you log into Disney, it's very clear right there at the top. We own Pixar. We own Marvel. We own Star Wars. Here's the portal. So it's like a sub-streaming service inside that main one. I was looking for that DC portal, and I think it's there. But
It's like way at the bottom of the page.
You got to dig around a little bit.
Well, HBO. I think their UI is still under development.
Yeah.
It took Netflix a while to get a good one.
Yeah, that's very true. But I don't know. Is there anything else? Oh, before we finish on Peacemaker, what did you think about Eagly? I wasn't sure if I was going to actually like Eagly because it's just like, oh, all right, so maybe this is going to be the corny portion of it, a CGI eagle. But I think he's great too.
It works good. Wait, I mean, isn't James Gunn the master of adding a CGI animal?
Yeah, he must. It works so well when he's like, "Hey, is he friendly?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And she goes to pet him and he bites. I thought you said he's friendly. Well, he's friendly to me. That was such a Peter Sellers joke. Remember the "Does your dog bite?" No, and the dog bites. It's like, I thought you said your dog doesn't bite. It's like, that's not my dog. It's like, oh my God, he threw in a Peter Sellers joke in there. It was like classic. But I liked Eagly. I thought it was great with the random dropping of the possum. Like, yeah, I approve of this explosion by putting a possum there. But I thought it worked really well. And he's a great part of the opening dance intro as well. So double thumbs up, triple thumbs up. If you have not watched Peacemaker, watch it. Fantastic soundtrack. John Cena's on point. The casting is great. If you like, this is like, I'm a bigger fan of, I liked, in this order, I like the animated The Tick from the 90s. Then I like The Tick that Prime dropped. I thought that was even better. Then I would put the Patrick Warburton Tick that they did on there. This is like R-rated The Tick. I don't know if you watched any of the Ticks.
I remember the original Tick cartoon and
yeah.
I didn't watch the Prime one.
Prime one was great, and it actually got a season 2, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, they actually gave it a season 2. I didn't think they were going to, and then they canceled it. And I was like, okay, that kind of lines up, because it had all the original writers that were actually in there, and I was like, damn, man, that was really good. Oh.
Sorry, I was quality checking the stream. It's working fine.
Yeah, it sounds really good. But yeah, definitely check it. This is definitely R-rated The Tick. So definitely check out Peacemaker. But
We'll
let's
see how many episodes are left or coming out.
so we got the 3 drop, and they're actually going to be doing 8. So we still got five whoppers that are coming up. So February 17th is going to be the finale. So it doesn't look, we're not going to get a break. We're gonna get right into it, and I'm here for it, man. I'm all for it.